Hi everybody! Hi Tamar! So welcome to another video. So today we're going to talk about things in the story that George R. R. Martin, lifted straight from history. I'm not talking just historical inspirations. So we're not just talking about general historical inspirations, but about things in the story that are identical to things that happened in real history.
Yeah, he's a history nerd.
So are we?
You know, we based at least the start of the story on War of the Roses. I think that's common knowledge.
Right.
A civil war in England in the 15th century that lasted for a few decades.
And the fact that the starting point of the story is a real historical event tells you something about the kind of story that we are reading.
We mentioned it many times. We read it as an historical novel based in a fantasy world.
Right. Start off. First example. Something in the story that has been lifted straight off from history.
You know, when Dany, she released the slaves in Yunkai, and on her way to Marine,
Right.
the
Okay.
slave masters crucified, like on the road to Marine, they crucified a few
The rebelling slaves.
the rebellion slaves.
Okay.
That reminded me of the Spartacus rebellion.
I'm Spartacus!
I'm Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus!
I'm Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus!
I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus.
Okay.
The slave revolt. Spartacus was a gladiator,
Right.
a slave.
So he led a few slaves, and then more people joined in.
Yeah, and he was very successful for a time.
He was.
And as a retaliation,
After he lost.
the Romans crucified a lot of his followers, including him,
Along the road.
along the road.
Yeah, to show other people. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's
that's
crazy. Slave revolts in the ancient world is always crazy. When you think about it, it's like your iPhone will, rebel against you or something like that, and electrify you. Like, hey, you're not supposed to do that. You're a machine.
right.
You're like,
Right. So
you're a tool.
our fear from the machine, you think, mirrors the fear of the masters from the slaves.
Yeah, in that sense, when they revolt, it's like, oh, that's like Rise of the Machines. Well, what happens here, you know?
Okay. So that's a good example. Okay, another one, number 2.
The Valyrian Ruins, like this huge empire, successful empire that dominated the entire known world or whatever,
Right.
and then fell in like a sudden, instance that just fell and disappeared and left a lot of ruins behind it. It's kind of like the Roman ruins that you see all across Europe, especially in Rome. Even now, in today's time, when you go to Rome and see the Forum and the Colosseum and all the ancient temples there,
It's incredible.
it's incredible. And we try to get in the minds of the people that inherited this place a few centuries after the Roman
Right.
Empire and totally forgot what was the Roman Empire, and you're like, oh, they used this Colosseum as like a dust bin or something like that, like a trash can. And they took from the Forum, they took a lot of stones and rebuilt the cities and stuff like that.
Right. Maybe there's some symbolism there. That the Valyrians were really, they had dragons, so they were more advanced in that way. So it's like somebody from medieval times looking at this and say, okay, they were probably magical people with dragons and
Giants,
whatever, and
yeah.
giants.
The Valyrians are all very similar to the Romans in terms of their, infrastructure. They built roads.
Right, you can see on the map.
Yeah, you can still see
straight.
them, the straight Valyrian roads, and
Right.
Romans were famous for their roads.
And straight roads.
And straight roads.
Right,
and
unlike the
paved
King's Road.
roads, yeah.
Yes, paved roads.
And that
exactly.
was like the Romans are here, we're going to have some roads.
Right.
And
Right.
also the way the George R. R. Martin wrote about the conflict between the Valyrians and the Giscari,
Okay.
like two ancient empires that fighting, for their place under the sun until they collude
Until
with
one devoured the other.
Exactly. And after a few wars, like the Romans had with the Carthaginians, the final war was total victory by the Romans and the Valyrians.
Okay.
And even they spread salt on the Giscari lands in order to prevent it from growing again. And that's similar to what they say the Roman did to Carthage. After the Third Punic War, when they destroyed the Carthaginians,
and the city itself.
They spread salt, like in a symbolic way. You will not grow again. There actually was a kind of thing of a trial by combat.
Trial by combat.
Yeah.
The victor is the winner because the gods look after him.
That was an ancient Germanic tribe rule or law.
Practice, right?
In practice. It's like a method to resolve conflict.
And the gods or God or Jesus decides who was right and who is dead. Okay, so if I'm stronger than you, then obviously I'm right and you are wrong. It makes sense?
I don't know if you can choose a champion. I kind of like this, actually.
You do? Another thing that is very similar to something that was in history, we talked about it, like the wall in the north is very similar to Hadrian's wall, the north of the British Isles, whatever.
Part of the Emperor Hadrian mission in the 1st century AD to establish the limits of the empire, the limites of the empire.
After it expanded without limits?
For like 200 years straight, without limits, conquering. And then he set up to build this wall and separate the half of Britain from the northern part, where all the barbarians, and this is like where civilization ends. And George R. R. Martin said himself that he stood as a tourist on Hadrian's wall. Imagine a Roman soldier looking to the horizon and like imagine like his fears and anxiety and like, what will come? These weird barbarians in their weird costumes and stuff.
They were weird. Right, with druids and like they're connected to nature and they have gods, like it's an animistic religion, right? So it's kind of similar that in the story, the first men, when they came in and fought the barbarians in the story, that's the children of the forest. And then they said, okay, let's settle it, that's it. Let's put a wall. What's over there in the north? That's yours. You take it. This is us. But that's okay. Here the first men did it and not the empire, not the Aegon the Conqueror.
Still, it's like the limits of men. Like the limits of men is expanding from the east to the west. The west was like, let's say, the last stronghold of non-men entities.
And after the war, and after a long time of war, they say, okay, that's it. That's enough. We won't get everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it's exactly the same.
It's exactly the same.
Also, you have the Kingsguard concept.
Okay.
That's lifted out straight out of history. Every ruler has its own guard, like the White Guard, His loyalty is straight to him and his family. Right,
not to the head of the army or anything else.
No.
It's like a personal guard.
Yeah, so you can say like the Secret Service, it's very similar, Their job is to protect the president
and they will take a bullet for the president.
And basically you can say every mobster or warlord have his own, homies and personal guards that are loyal.
Muscle,
straight to him, and they are swore to give their lives in order to protect him.
For the hater who be talking loud, running his lips, trying to diss, he better lay low. For the girl who said I broke her up and then I just split, now she pissed, she better lay low. For the buster who be claiming my hood and really ain't for my gang, better lay low.
So you have to invent some kind of story that makes it meaningful for them dying for this guy. It's your oath, it's God, whatever, blah blah blah. So please die and shut the fuck up. Honorable. And what about the Red Wedding? Right, that was inspired by the Black Dinner. That was let me remember. In 1440
in Scotland.
In Scotland, and there was also the Glencoe massacre that was in 1692.
Yeah.
1692. 91? No, 92.
Yeah. But, a lot of people talked about it.
Okay.
Let me give you something. In the story of the Battle of the Blackwater,
Right, I remember.
When Tyrion saves the King's Landing.
Unleashes the wildfire.
Yeah, by trapping the invading ships.
Okay.
And burning them with wildfire, which is a fire that keeps on burning. Even
on water.
We get in touch with liquids. and that was taken straight out of, I didn't know that, but
Okay.
that was taken straight out of the Muslim attempt to conquer Constantinople in the 7th century.
Constantinople, the capital of the Eastern Roman Empire
Yeah.
after the fall of Rome.
Of the rest of Rome, the Byzantine Empire,
Right.
the true heir of the Roman Empire. They still called themselves the Roman Empire. And the upstarting empire of the Umayyads, of the first Muslim empire.
Caliphate.
The Caliphate, yeah.
That came from Saudi Arabia and that region.
From the Arab Peninsula,
Right,
yeah.
right.
They expanded to, everybody knows that. They reached until Spain and whatever. And one of the first attempts of fighting the Byzantine, which was back then an empire in withdrawal, in the area of the Levant and the Middle East, it was already gone. The Muslims kicked them out. And they did a siege on Constantinople, trying to conquer it. And they brought a lot of ships. And the besieged used something like, that's something that is called Greek fire. They burned the invading ships using like a liquid or some kind of, gas or whatever.
That burned on water.
That burned
as well?
on water, yeah, and created obviously a lot of psychological havoc.
And it saved the city.
It saved the city for a millennia.
Okay, so the people defending the city used a kind of wild fire not to defend it by burning all the ships. So that's okay. So okay, so but maybe we forgot something. So if we forgot something, you should definitely mention in the comments. And I want to thank our patrons for sponsoring our channel. You can do that too. There's a link in the description. If you want to watch our video about how Daenerys was inspired by Genghis Khan uniting the Mongol tribes, here it is. We shot that during season 6, right? And if you could please like the video, that would make more people be able to watch it, increase the exposure, that would help us out. If we can get to 2,000 likes, that would be awesome. That'll be awesome. So thank you for that, and we'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.
The hater who be talking loud, running his lips, trying to diss. He better lay low. For the girl who said I broke her up and then I just split. Now she pissed. She better lay low.